For as long as I can remember, I have never been inspired by Windows laptops. They've often been bulky, ugly, and slow, whereas the competition was always sleek, modern, and much faster. That was until Asus asked me if I wanted to test the new Zenbook A14. My initial thought was, great, another Windows laptop. But something about it was utterly intriguing. This was the lightest Copilot Plus PC in the world. I was like, oh great, it's light for a PC. But a quick Google search later, I learned that it's even lighter than the new M3 MacBook Air, weighing only 980 grams. Now, it had my attention. When it finally arrived at my door and I picked it up, I was in a rush to open the box so that I wouldn't prolong my disappointment. But that disappointment never came. This laptop is more than a laptop. It's a piece of art, and I knew that before I ever turned it on. Made of a new material known as ceraluminum, which is a combination of aluminum and ceramic. From my understanding, this makes it both durable and scratch resistant. Now, I'm not one that tests the durability of my laptops, but smudges and scratches drive me insane. I knew it simply by touching it. This was no ordinary laptop. What Asus had developed was nothing short of modern alchemy. The texture was soft yet rigid. The keys inside and the trackpad left me with the same feeling, a premium soft feeling like I had never experienced before. Very different than the hard, clean bodies of the MacBooks that I was used to. The keyboard was a joy to play with. The feedback, the fluid motion, it all felt right. Asus had convinced me of the outer shell, but it was still a Windows laptop. They always slow down and seemingly struggle to keep up. But this laptop features 512 gigs of SSD memory and 16 gigs of RAM, all powered by the new Snapdragon X series processor. So maybe there was hope. It has fast charging that lets you get from 0 to 60 in about 50 minutes and claims up to 32 hours of non-video playback life. Again, a lot of good numbers, but I've been burned before. Something I found interesting was a dedicated Copilot button. I'm used to using Siri on my MacBook, so this was a feature that certainly caught my eye, something I had yet to use. I ran it through all of my usual ChatGPT prompts, and I was pleasantly surprised. I couldn't really tell the difference between the two. The Face ID unlock was one of my favorite features. I would test it over and over again, impressed every time that the laptop actually unlocked. And that's everything from an external perspective and a spec sheet perspective regarding the new Asus Zenbook A14. I really hope you guys enjoyed that new cinematic intro style. I was experimenting with something new and just wanted to try it out, see how it does. So if you liked it, definitely let me know in the comments below and I'll do it more in the future. It definitely took a ton of work and a lot more effort than these talking head style videos. So if that's something that you guys like, I'll definitely do it moving forward into the future. Or if you just prefer that I get straight into the products, definitely just let me know and we can also do that. Now, before we get into the actual performance specs and showing you how that rolls out on the new Asus Zenbook A14, I just wanted to quickly talk about this video sponsor, and it is Motion Array. Now, for those of you that have been around for a while, you know that Motion Array is a long-standing sponsor of this channel, and that's really because I love their tools. And one of the tools that I've been obsessed with lately is this plugin called Sunbeams. And if you've been watching some of my latest videos on Instagram, I've been having these sunbeams or light rays in some of my videos, which makes everything look super cinematic. Now, usually you need a haze machine or a fog machine to achieve this kind of effect, but there is this plugin from Motion Array that I've been using called Sunbeams, which I just simply drag and drop onto my timeline, and it creates these artificial sunbeams. It's absolutely incredible. I've honestly never seen something like this, and prior to discovering this, I was about to spend like $300 on a haze machine, so it definitely saved me a ton of money. And the way that it works is great. Once you drop it onto your timeline, you can adjust the brightness, the length of the sunbeams, as well as their positioning and their focus, and you can also go ahead and even change the color if certain scenes require it, which is just awesome. Now, Motion Array has a ton of these drag and drop style of plugins and sort of video assets that you can just drop into your timeline, and they integrate seamlessly with your videos, and it makes it really easy to start making high quality videos without having to know too much about filmmaking or editing in the background, because you're just simply dragging and dropping what you're trying to add to your timeline into your videos from Motion Array. So if you're looking to get your video editing skills to the next level, I highly recommend you go check out Motion Array. There will be a link in the description below that'll help you save a little bit of money if that's something that you're into, and obviously it'll help me out as well, but it'll also help you out. And trust me, you can even check it out for free. They do have a trial which lets you explore some of their features. You don't get everything, but you can check it out, see if it's for you, and then if you want to stick around, then you can definitely do that. Once again, huge thanks to Motion Array for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into the performance of the Asus Zenbook A14. Okay, cool. So for the performance part of this video, I figured that we would just go ahead and do some color grading on the Asus Zenbook A14 inside of DaVinci Resove, because I find that that's the most taxing thing that I do on any of my computers, and it ends up being the most difficult for whatever reason. So I am actually filming this video in the past prior to filming the intro for this video that you've already seen. So these are actually my true first impressions for what it's like to color grade inside of DaVinci Resove on the Asus Zenbook A14. So let's just see how this goes, and hopefully it's not slow and we're able to color grade effectively, and hopefully the performance test plays out and this is a laptop that creators can actually use to jump in and start color grading like professionals and start editing their videos, because that's the main thing that I use my laptop for. So anyways, let's jump right into it. Okay, so here I am inside of DaVinci Resove, and in this folder right here, I have a bunch of drone shots that I took in Peru that were shot in Dlog on the Mavic 3 Pro. So let's just start off with this one clip that I took in Huacachina, again shot on the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. Okay, I swear I dropped that in. Let's try that again. Okay, cool. So we got it in. Let's bring it to the beginning of our timeline. And yeah, the fact that I can even see this and scroll through this right now, to me, is pretty impressive. Like I mentioned in the past, I've had some laptops where even this part wouldn't work, so this is pretty promising to see that right off the bat we're able to scroll through the timeline without any issues, no rendering, no buffering, and that's great to see. So let's head into our color tab, and here I'm going to do an extremely simple grade. So I'm just going to create a secondary node. I'm going to enable or label this one CST, and then we're going to label this one curves for some simple adjustments. So we're going to start off by dropping a color space transform into our CST node, and we're just going to transform this footage into Rec 709. So obviously, like I said, it was shot on the DJI Mavic 3 Pro and in Dlog. So I'll just put this to Rec 709A, and then under the curve section, I'm just going to bring down the shadows here, lift up the blacks a little bit, flatten out the highlights. I actually like using the trackpad on this, which is kind of rare for me. I'll bring down the whites. And yeah, this is a really simple grade and kind of on the moodier side. So obviously it's more my style, and you're free to color grade your footage however you like. But if I go back into the edit tab, I just want to see, yeah. So I want to see if I can still scroll through the timeline with the grade applied and see if it buffers at all or anything like that. And it seems to be perfectly fine, which is honestly really great to see. Again, I've worked with laptops where this would not be the case, so I'm really happy with this. And this is probably how I would grade this clip and just leave it there. Okay, cool. Now let's jump into our second clip. So we're gonna go back to that same folder. Let's scroll down and let's pick this clip. So this is a video from Rainbow Mountain, and unfortunately we didn't get to go up that day because obviously you can see it was snowing, so it was too unsafe, but we got some pretty unique conditions, so that's kind of cool to see. We got a experience that not many people get to see. And this one, as far as memory serves me right, I got the exposure perfect in camera. I remember thinking that to myself. So here I'm just gonna do a one node grade. I'm just gonna drop in the color space transform and hope that I did this right. So if I go DJI Rec 709 Rec 709A, and I come back here, yeah, like this looks how I would want it to color grade. And you know, sometimes when you nail your exposure in camera like perfectly, this is what it ends up looking like, and you end up getting lucky. So that's really great to see. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so now that we have the color grading out of the way, let's head into the whole delivery process, because that can also be pretty taxing on some computers. So if I come out here, I select both my clips, I have everything set to maximum usually for my export settings. So our format is QuickTime, or we're using H.264 for a codec. As you can see, our timeline resolution is in 4K, 24 frames per second. We have everything seem to be right here. Both our force sizing and our forge debayer is set to highest quality. So, sorry, I kind of needed to burp there. So let's go ahead and add this to our render queue. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. I'm gonna hit render all, and let's just see how long this process takes. So I'm gonna hit render. It's saying a little bit over a minute, which honestly is not too bad. Like if you're not using a state-of-the-art, like highest performance laptop, because this video is about a minute-ish long, so it's taking about a minute to export. But let's just sit tight, let's see how long it actually takes, and let's just let the computer go through the whole process. Okay, cool. So our export is done. So it took a little bit over a minute, which is honestly not too bad if you ask me. And let's just see how the video plays back. I saved it onto my desktop. So I go here and let's just forward a little bit. Yeah, it plays back great, which I'm honestly really impressed by. Like again, this is a heavy codec and a heavy file. So I'm honestly really impressed with how the Asus Zenbook A14 has handled both color grading and exporting inside DaVinci Resolve on high quality codecs. Again, Dlog, DJI Mavic 3 Pro shot in 4K. So yeah, overall, I would say the performance of this laptop is definitely not bad if you're a creator who wants to work on the Windows ecosystem and is looking for a light sort of travel laptop. Anyways, that's it for this video. This was my whole attempt at a cinematic hardware and performance test for the Asus Zenbook A14. Honestly, I think it's a great laptop, and it's one of the few Windows laptops that I would personally actually consider using. So that's great to see. Hopefully you got everything you needed to from this video, and if you were considering picking up this laptop, this did answer some of your questions. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, keep creating.